What's up, guys? Welcome back to WCS America. I'm Axel Toss. I'm joined by Axlab, currently watching Challenger League Group E, Top 2, Advanced Premier League Season 2, which is really important. This is the winner's match. Jim is 1 win away, but can he 2-0 Jaedong?
You know, if he plays like that, I think he can. That was
Cool.
Some of the cleanest, most perfect Protoss play I've seen in a long time. It was reminiscent of watching back when Party went like 40-0 with that 2-base Immortal timing. Of course, this is a different timing. It looked very similar. Jim's timing is a little bit faster. Of course, with a couple less sentries than what Party sometimes had. Doesn't have the Warp Prism. But it's a similar type of idea for the most part. He has motion core as well, of course, being Heartless Swarm. But just the macro behind it and the force fields were so spectacular. Jim is a force to be reckoned with over the next year or so. Like, this is a guy we're going to see every tournament he goes to. He's going to be someone that everyone wants to avoid.
I think you're absolutely right. I think you are 100% right. Of course, let's introduce players. In the top left, we have the red Protoss player that we've been talking about. Taking a very convincing win in game number 1. If he wins this one, he's into WCS America Premier League Season 2. He is Jim. Of course, I wanted to mention his path to this point to remind anyone watching. Of course, he did qualify for Challenger League through the qualifiers. And in the Challenger League bracket stage, he defeated Oz 2-1. He defeated Vibe 2-0. And then he lost to Scarlet 1-2. So Scarlet was able to dissect Jim in their bracket match Challenger League to knock him down to this point.
And to talk a little about those games, I'd highly recommend checking them out. They're very high-level ZvPs.
Yep. Both
Scarlet and Jim are. I mean, we obviously just saw how good Jim is at Protoss. Scarlet won the series 2-1. The one game she lost was on Whirlwind. It was a mass gateway attack where she missed a proxy pylon and just died.
Yeah.
I think it was a 7-gate, no tech, just crazy aggression on 2 bases.
Yep.
And she just didn't see it coming in time. The 2 games she won were very interesting because she did the 2-base tech build where you get Zerging upgrades to go straight to Ultradus and a little bit later third. And what that does is, at least played properly, that beats every 2-base timing easily. And at least as people got more familiar with the build, you'll almost never see Protoss do the super 2. Oh, wait a minute here.
Deja vu, man. Nick, we were talking about this not 4 hours ago.
But it's different.
It's a little bit different, isn't it?
This is actually less efficient than the one I was watching GSL.
Yes. SOS.
Yeah, SOS did it actually
versus
was
it Effort?
Yes, it was versus Effort.
Okay, let's see what happens here. Cannon rush going to be attempted from Jim. 2 drones sneaking on by, and that pylon is very weirdly placed. Or is that a cannon? Oh, that is a pylon.
Yeah, this is actually... it feels like Jim was trying to figure out where to place the buildings as it was going on. But he's got the wall in now. A lot of cancels. He wants... The reason why you built that, he wants to trap the drones.
Now you cancel all but... Will the drones get out alive is the question.
No. That probe. If that probe didn't get that hit off, the drone... Yeah, because it takes 3 hits for Can to kill a drone because it regenerates 1 life in between hits. So, you know what, though? Jim did spend a lot on that. It wasn't the cleanest cannon rush ever. I mean, it was... He got it up fast, and he knew a good spot to put it in. But actually, on the left side of where his first pylon went, you can do it a little bit more efficiently because the gases block out so much better than the minerals do. Anyways, either way, the cannon rush worked, right? The natural's down, but Jaedong did cancel it. Jaedong immediately built his hatchery. The Nexus was delayed enough that the Nexus and hatchery are roughly evenly timed. So it's not clear if any player has a huge advantage right now. What is it? Double? Is he going? Okay, he canceled.
Was that a gateway? Or
it was a gateway.
He's just trying to
make sure he couldn't build a cycler. He doesn't have a gateway done.
Oh, yeah, of course. Duh.
You know, Jim's in a lot of canceling buildings.
Yeah.
I really like how Jaedong's taking the 3rd hatchery, too. Some Zergs feel,
at the middle left over there, yeah.
Some Zergs feel compelled they have to get roaches and clear up their natural before they take a 3rd hatch. And, sometimes you can do that, they maybe can threaten the Protoss, but building a roach war and getting gas and building roaches before 3rd hatch slows your economy down so much as a Zerg. I mean, You really do not want to have to get any units out in the field before you have 3 bases in Zerg versus Protoss, assuming the Protoss is taking their natural expansion.
Let's see if Jim kind of identified this. He saw the base at the bottom left. He didn't see the base at the what do you call it? The 8 o'clock, I guess, 8:30 o'clock. Yeah, he didn't see that base.
He may look for, if the cannons don't get killed within the next minute, right? If he doesn't see Banings, Roaches, or just a lot of Zerglings going to kill him, he's going to assume either it's a 2-base tech, a 2-base all-in, or there's a third somewhere else. And obviously the first thing to check for is where's that third base, and then hallucinate scout. You can check the main. Is there, going, is he lair, is he going Nidus or Spire or whatever?
Yep.
And so I expect Jim to be suspicious and trying to be curious about what the follow-up from Jaedong is, as the fact that these cannons aren't being taken out.
Now, some obvious disadvantages here for Jaedong. Obviously, his main and his other bases are pretty darn far apart. And if you're trying to reinforce, if you're trying to, take advantage of your defender's advantage, that's going to be a little bit harder to do. Get units all the way over there. And it's a situation where Jim is actually pretty darn close to that 8 o'clock base. So we'll have to see how Jim adjusts his game plan to kind of receive what Jaedong has done and try to take advantage of the situation, of the game state.
Oh, the probes get into the main. This is definitely a little bit of an error by Jaedong. His Zerglings should have been on the ramp, blocking that scout, or at least a couple of them. Because it's the fact that Jim saw the lair wasn't done yet, and the amount of gas
that a third should...
Yeah, he has to anticipate that there's a third on the ground. And he's going air, he's getting the Phoenix. The Phoenix will be secondary scout. Just to try to figure out exactly what's going on. And I like the airplay because, as you mentioned, Jaedong's very spread out.
Yep.
And air is a very fast way to move between bases with air units. So you can really exploit the spatial disadvantage that Jaedong has, having to cover and protect a much larger zone of the map than ideally you would have to protect.
Phoenix going to tack down this Overlord pretty quickly here. And it's also worth noting
there's no
that...
probes being built.
Ooh.
That's worth being noted.
That's very worth noting. Thank you, Nick. But also, the 2 pylons are still very much alive at the natural expansion of Jaedong. So Warp-in's later. In fact, I think Warp Gate is done.
It is.
Gateway's finishing up. So he could Warp in at his opponent's natural if he wanted to.
He could. There's enough creep there to be spotted quickly. And I think this is a point in the game where gateway units on their own aren't going to do too much. Sometimes Zelts, though, can be great. Like, if they're distracted by Phoenixes, sneaking and trying to harass. But it looks like Jaedong has some Roaches in production, so he's probably going to take out that position fairly soon. Of course, Phoenix is coming here to scout the main. They're going to try to figure out exactly what's going on. every time you scout a Zerg, you want to try to notice the animation of the Roach, and you can see if they're getting the Roach speed or not. That's a very important thing to know.
It is wiggling, so you should know Roach speed is on the way.
He's doing a lot of damage.
Is there no Spore?
There's no Spore. It was just started right now.
Wow.
These Overlords, I mean, he's going to lose 2 of those probably before the Spore finishes. This is, so meanwhile he cleaned up just his Roaches. Too big a deal. Jim's not crying about that. I think he anticipated that going down. Sure. These Phoenixes just keep killing stuff.
Spore is finally done, but
how many
units lost is 1,200 to 762.
Yeah. And all that 762 was the canceled buildings, was probably 200, and 2 pylons and 2 cannons. So
it's one of the most unique numbers you'll see on the region.
Yeah. And actually, I think that's pretty much all. Like, if we look at the
5 units lost.
And 4 of those were the buildings.
Yeah.
So it was 2 pylons, 2 cannons, and then probably a probe. Yeah. There you go. So he actually hasn't lost a single unit yet in the game. So as far as units lost, it's pretty much.
So when you lose a building, it counts as a unit. And the unit's
it does.
Oh, okay.
It does.
Huh. Interesting.
Roach is checking on the 3rd base, and this is going to tell, and Overseer, right? So he knows it's a 2-base follow-up, and this is what Jim excels so much in micro. And we talked about how he lost to Scarlet. He lost to Scarlet because she did a build where you can't do 2-base time against it. And of course, it puts her a little bit behind economy, more tech over economy, as opposed to Jaedong's favorite economy over tech with these three base builds. And then it got the super late game, and Scarlet's late game control is I would say one of the top couple in the world, honestly. Even the best players in Korea, when it gets that super late game as far as controlling units, she's up there. And so, anytime Jim thinks he can make it more of a low-tech game about micro, that's where he's prioritizing. And actually, he's going to clear out this 3rd base. Is he? Has he gotten more probes, or is he still at the very?
Yeah,
he's building 2 more now. So
A little bit
it's
decisive,
56.
maybe?
No, he's definitely taking a third now, yeah. You know what? I think he might not have identified the fact that Jaedong was on 3 bases for quite a long time.
Oh.
And he was cutting probes because he assumed there was a big attack coming at him. He's still going to be okay because he's actually still okay on probes, and Jaedong's tech is so low that cost efficiency-wise, yes, he's been behind the economy, but I mean, with this many mortals, and we've seen what he can do with force fields.
Yeah.
Jaedong's going to have a hard time breaking him.
All
if he doesn't break him, we're going to be dealing with
he's making nothing but units at this point. I mean, he has 71 harvesters. It's a great amount of drones to have, so it's fine to do pressure at this point. First, Colossus is about 80% of the way done. Jim is going to want that as fast as possible, probably Chrono Boost the heck out of that. +1 missile about to finish here for Jaedong. So the goal here is to deny that third base. But with all these modals and all of these force fields available and a time warp, I don't know if it's going to happen, but already getting sprinting in here, trying to target down the next, he might be able to force the cancel.
Oh, he's definitely going to get the cancel, but how many units is he going to lose in the process? Can he escape with this army? Jim is looking to trap that, and if he kills it all, there's no escape.
Yeah, he can just force field between the rock and the ledge on the left-hand side, and every single unit here is going to die. Jaedong taking down his opponents, or forcing the cancel on the Nexus, but sacrificing all those units. Do you think that's worth it?
That's a very hard call. I mean, I honestly think that favored Jim, but on the other hand, Jaedong couldn't not attack.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. Like, if he lets Jim build up a larger army, he's still just on Roach Hydra.
Colossi,
yeah,
force fields.
It would only get worse for him. The engagement looks worse once there's a Colossi range, and once there's multiple Colossi there instead of just the one. So he had to attack, you know, because he didn't have tech behind it. Now, he does have the Spire coming up, but
Jim hasn't seen it yet.
He
there's a second target.
I think that's just Jim wants to go for the Colossi Vortex combination. I'm curious what the Spire is going to do because, oh, he's going to get another cancel on Nexus here. No.
Or is he? Yep, force is going down. Great force fields there from Jim.
I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be a muted transition.
Yeah.
There's no way he would want to go Corruptors against
Void Rays.
Yeah, against Void Rays, or even, I mean, honestly, even against Colossi. They're not always amazing. There's a lot of Stalkers there as well with Blink, and it's usually one of those two. So I think he's going to be looking to do a muted transition later down the road, most likely.
But first Swarmos, maybe?
Yeah, we could see some Swarmos play. He's going drones and infestation pits, so he's realizing he can't break his opponent. Jim's forces are too good to be broken with just Roaches and Hydranus. And so he's starting to transition to a late gate. But the question is, oh, looks like he's actually attacking from 2 sides here, maybe going into the third while threatening the natural.
Yeah, Roaches and Hydra going into the third, and Roaches and Hydra just sprinting right on by into the main base. This is a great decision here from Jaedong, realizing these units aren't going to be as good as the game goes along. He's willing to make these trades, turn on the third. The third does end up falling. Meanwhile, in the main, he's going to be targeted down the Nexus, and that might fall as well.
Oh no, the Nexus is getting low. Switching over to the Zealots. It looks like a Colossi comes in from the back.
He changed his target fire.
I mean, I think he realized he wasn't going to get it.
Yeah. Wise choice. Yep. 17 mutas, so he's going straight into muta production.
And the thing is he realized Roach Hydras are useless at this point unless he could have added in some Vipers. And his Infestation Pit was too late. He wasn't going to get Vipers in time before major engagement. So he decided to trade in for his economy, forced him to come to me now because his economy's hurt again. And Jaedong, he's going to have to go for the base race. In a straight-up engagement with Guardian Shield and a potential Stalker Warp in, mutas aren't going to stop this army.
Isn't this what happened in the DreamHack final?
It was.
Their base trade situation.
And Jaedong actually should have won the game into Bluesing.
Okay.
Which we may see that here. Zerg typically has advantage in these base trades. Jim is anticipating this. We saw he pulled the Phoenixes back. These spines are not going to stop this army. That was 4 Immortals there.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Jaedong needs to spread his drones around, start building hatcheries across the map, but most importantly, he needs to take Jim's bases out.
Muta's heading straight for where the Stargates were before, tarring down the cannon, and then the pylons. Inevitably, there are a good amount of Phoenixes on the field, and Jim immediately trying to restart that Phoenix production, taking out his opponent's natural expansion. Going to be heading into the main, but where are his Phoenixes? I feel like he should be trying to micro them against these Mutas.
You know, I think he's afraid because he doesn't have too many. They don't have range, and he wants to build up a few more. But the Stargates are being taken out. Yeah.
Those Stargates gone. This third base is going to be denied, but Jaedong's going to lose his main base. His Spire is here as well, which is actually really important. It's at the bottom side of the main, so we'll have to see if Jim can take that out and of course, prevent the continued production. Oh, Zealot's going to be chopping up a bunch of the drones at the natural expansion. Meanwhile, Jaedong still trying to eliminate his opponent's buildings as well, taking down the natural expansion nexus, taking down the Cyber Core. And this is as base tradey as it gets. Some Lings even sprinting into the main base of his opponent. And now Jim is just going to try to track down these additional bases from Jaedong.
So the situation is Jim's way ahead in supply, but of course Jaedong has a mobility advantage. Jaedong's going back to defend. He realizes Jim has a lot of units in his main. He thinks his army is weak. There's not enough anti-air there. The Mutas and Speedas are going to try to engage this. Can he save this base?
There's a lot of Phoenixes there too. The Mutas swooping in. What do they target? The Mothership, of course, so the recall can't happen, and now going to switch their target fire to the Voiders, but the Phoenixes are here, which is going to cause Jaedong to be a little bit tentative, but now the reinforcements are coming here from Jim. He's going to get his entire army together. Jaedong trying to buy a little bit of time to get spines up, to get some more Mutas, to get some more Lings, but Jim might just have too much.
Oh, there's just too much there. Jim can actually split his army into two pieces. He has the probes and the stalkers and the Phoenixes dealing with the Mutas while the rest of the army takes down base after base. It looks like the third of Jaedong is cleaned up. Actually, the Mutas chasing out stalkers here.
Hold on a second. He got a couple free Phoenixes. Oh. There's 3 free stalkers, and
if he can take down this force.
Yeah, you got to take out, obviously, the Phoenixes and the Stalkers.
Oh, look at that turnaround. The Phoenixes are exposed. He's going straight for them. All the Phoenixes go down.
He's just going to straight up engage us. A few Stalkers there, but does Jaedong have too many Mutas? A Guardian Shield being deployed as well. I think Jim should have enough here.
He should. Even if these units die, remember, there's still plenty of Void Raids left, and the Muta count is getting so small, and Jaedong can't replace it. It's 23 food to 130 of Jim's.
Wow, Jim looking so good in this game. Some probes. Going to be a little bit vulnerable, but we're starting to run out of buildings here for Jaedong, and now he has to make a decision. He only has 9 Mutas on the map.
And Jim's kind of still mining. It's long distance.
Sure.
But he still has a Nexus left, so I'm surprised he's actually not returning home and just playing passive. I think he's I mean, now that Jaedong has the mining bases, right, Jim could just sit on his probe line as long as it's fine until he can rebuild. But he's going to just go kill the buildings. There you go.
Wow, there's the GG, and Jim is going to be your first player to qualify from Group E and get himself a spot in WCS America Premier League Season 2 with the 2-0 over Jaedong.
And he made it look easy, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaedong got second in the premier event not but a few days ago in DreamHack. And Jim is a guy, I mean, people who follow Chinese scene will know him. He's obviously insanely talented, but he hasn't been in the premier tournaments yet. But he just took down Jaedong 2-0 like it was nothing. Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to see how this guy does in Season 2.
He's definitely going to be a guy to look out for. Again, one of those group of death type players where he's in the lowest tier as far as
he went through the group.
Yeah, as far as getting to Premier League, he's in that lowest tier when you're figuring out the groups. And he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, in Season 2. Really exciting stuff there from Jim, taking the 2-0 over Jaedong. Coming up next, guys, it's going to be the losers match between Drunken Boy and Ian. Of course, the winner of that will advance on to play Jaedong, who is awaiting in the last match of the night. Guys, you're watching WCS America Match for the Night coming up.